Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm 13 years old. I'm curious, I'm passionate, and I'm sure you are too. Join me on a quest to dig deep and find out new things. Welcome to Youth Voices. Good evening. Welcome to my program. This is your host Tristan Pang on Planet FM 104.6. Youth Voices. Good to have your company on a Saturday evening. In today's show, we will have a look at what's been happening at the New Zealand Association of Gifted Children's 40th Anniversary Conference. I'll also share with you some inspirational quotes and stories, so here we go. Let's be inspired! The Elephant Rope from academictips.org. As a man was passing the elephants, he suddenly stopped, confused by the fact that these huge creatures were being held by only a small rope tied to their front leg. No chains, no cages. It was obvious that the elephants could, at any time, break away from their bonds, but for some reasons, they did not. He saw a trainer nearby and asked why these animals just stood there and made no attempt to get away. Well, the trainer said, when they were very young and much smaller, we used the same size rope to tie them, and, at that age, it's enough to hold them. As they grow up, they're conditioned to believe they cannot break away. They believe that the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break away. The man was amazed. These animals could at any time break free from their bonds, but because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right there where they were. Like the elephants, how many of us go through life hanging onto a belief that we cannot do something about, simply because we failed at it once before? Failure is part of learning. We should never give up the struggle in life. Let's listen. The conference last week was very successful and well received by the audience, some international. There are talks from Nano Girl Michelle Dickinson and even me for anyone. I would like to share with you a spectacular speech by the passionate Jonathan Leung at the Student Speakers Forum hosted by Andrew Patterson. Jonathan is in Year 7 but is doing Year 13 Maths and Year 11 Chemistry this year by self-studying. He has many interests including maths and physics, programming, animation, electronics, and piano. Jonathan talked about the Rubiks Cube.
Have you ever tried solving the Rubiks Cube? Some of us find it really hard. It has stumped us. You might even think of picking up and smashing it on the ground. But some people praise it a lot. Whether you love it or hate it, it has all come from Erno Rubik, the inventor. Don't worry, he isn't evil. Erno Rubik thought up this object to teach students about spatial relationships. He realized the potential of this great object, so he wanted to popularize it. He first called it the Magic Cube, and he just tried to popularize it. Once he took it to a toy fair, and that's when Tom Kremer negotiated to sell it to the world and start to make it very popular. Later on, some people found a solution to it, but they didn't just want to solve it, they wanted to solve it quickly, so speed cubing was made, and people have tried to solve it really quickly. It is officially governed by the World Cube Association. There have been some really cool records lately, like Colin Burns recently broke the record for human solving. He took 5.25, not minutes, but seconds. I can solve it in about 2 minutes, and a friend of mine can solve it in about 40 seconds. But compare Colin Burns to a normal person who can solve the Rubiks Cube. That is really fast. But if a human can solve it, so can a robot. The Cube Stormer 3 broke the record by getting 3.253 seconds, and that is the record for a robot. The Cube has also made itself into popular culture, like art. They have Rubiks Cubism, where they arrange arrays of Rubik's Cubes, hundreds of them, to make a huge mosaic, like that one over there. There are also appearances in media, like in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. Chris has been seen solving the Rubik's Cube. There are also some really clever cubes made by really creative people. We have the Masterpiece Cube, the most expensive cube in the world. It costs $1.5 million and has 185 carats of precious gems, and each face has a different kind of gem on it. How to solve the Rubik's Cube. If you thought that there is no method and it's really impossible and it's so hard, don't worry, there are ways to solve it. First way, you can disassemble all of the Rubik's Cubes and put them back together, but that is definitely not the proper way to do it. If you want to do the real way, we have the CFOP, which is the most popular one. It is known for its speed. There are 4 steps. The cross, where you make a white cross on one side, the first 2 layers, and the orientation and permutation of the last layer, which is supposed to be for sorting out the last layer. This is not the only one. There are also ones like Petrus and ZZ. And if you want to solve it, then you can find the beginner's method on the Rubiks Cube website. This object is very amazing, and it's quite great how it can turn into an awesome puzzle. It took a lot of work to develop it, and think what Erno Rubik did to make it before you start smashing your cube into pieces. A lot of things came out of the Rubik's Cube, like appearances in media and Rubik's Cubism art. The Rubik's Cube has influenced the world and will stay today.
We were very privileged to have the technical producer, Paul Hannon, whom I have interviewed before, to offer his voice to the NZAGC History video I produced. Here it is.
It all began 40 years ago. Peter and Fem Walters, Dutch refugees in the 1950s, formed a group for families of gifted children, with the intention to cater for the greater intellectual needs of their gifted children and give them the opportunity to socialise with others who might have similar thinking processes to themselves. NZAGC's founding president, Peter Walters, was a maths lecturer at the then North Shore Teachers College, now AUT Akaranga. About 30 children met monthly on a Saturday. Piet van der Meyden, president from 1984 and a current life member of NZAGC, was also a founding member. Professor George Parkin, NZAGC's founding patron, was one of New Zealand's most distinguished scholars in the field of educational research. He remained as patron until his death in 1994, and over that time played a very significant part in the NZAGC's development into an effective and valuable organisation, encouraging particularly cooperation between the regions. By 1979, NZAGC had branches in Hawke's Bay, Rotorua, North Shore, Auckland, Hamilton, Tauranga, Wanganui, and a new branch was established in Whangarei. That same year, in conjunction with the Secondary Schools Inspectorate, seminars for secondary school principals, guidance counsellors and teachers were held in Tauranga and Hamilton. By 1985, the National Council Executive Committee, led by the President Rosemary Cathcart, comprised representatives from Whangarei, Tauranga, Auckland, Wanganui, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin, a truly national council. In 2004, Rosemary was awarded the Queen's Service Medal for her contribution to gifted education. In 1990, Sue Breen was acting NZAGC president and initiated the first nationwide student workshops, the Fletcher Challenge Trust NZAGC Biological Sciences Workshop, a week-long residential camp in Wellington. Sue co-edited the quarterly magazine, Gifted Children, Their Future, Our Challenge, and oversaw the change to the new Tall Poppies format. Sue Breen continues to work hard on behalf of gifted children and is currently the director of Small Poppies with the New Zealand Centre for Gifted Education and a life member of the NZAGC. In 1994, Professor Don McAlpine accepted the position of NZAGC patron, Assistant Professor of Educational Psychology at Massey University and one of New Zealand's most prolific researchers. Don remained patron until his retirement in 2004. Marilyn Stafford stepped into the role of president in 1994. In 1997, Marilyn oversaw important changes to NZAGC's future direction, with the formation of new mission and vision statements and 6 goals for the association, which still stand today. In 1997, Rosemary Cathcart and council members met with the Associate Minister of Education, Brian Donnelly, and lobbied strongly for the needs of gifted and talented children. In 2003, with Stephen Thomas as president, NZAGC went on to establish a new internet address and revised website content. This enabled NZAGC to reach a wider audience. National Council meetings were held in cyberspace and the email system managing keeping in touch with members. The Dean of Education at the University of Waikato, Professor Roger Maltson, became the patron of NZAGC in 2004. 2006 saw the advent of NZAGC philosophy over the pizza tours. The major purpose of the POP tours was to support NZAGC members in areas outside the main centres. Run by the Philosophy for Children trained Marilyn Stafford, the POP Roadshow visited Tauranga, Hawke's Bay, Palmerston North, Christchurch, West Coast and Queenstown during school holidays. In 2007, Rose Blackett was elected president. Rose has represented NZAGC both internationally and at home for the last 8 years. As a board member for the New York-based group SENG, the Social and Emotional Needs of Gifted, Rose has continued to keep NZ at the forefront of international gifted awareness. NZAGC continues to run annual conferences and parent-teacher evenings. In 2009, NZAGC joined other gifted groups to celebrate Gifted Awareness Week, now held annually in the week of the 17th of June, the birthday of our founding patron, George Parkin. To celebrate Gifted Awareness Week, NZAGC has been offering the popular national school competitions for students. This year, 2015, saw leading radio broadcaster Andrew Patterson step into the role of president. Another 40 years starts here. The best is yet to come.
If you want to listen to my other shows, please go to my website www.questisfun.org.nz/youthvoices. That is www.quest-is-fun.org.nz/youthvoices. So for today, that's it from me, Tristan Pang. Thank you for listening. I welcome your feedback and your support of the program. Please write to me on Facebook or email me to youthvoicesnz@gmail.com. Don't forget to like Youth Voices with Tristan Pang on Facebook. Good night, world. Join me again next Saturday at 5:20 p.m. to dig deeper or listen anytime online at planetaudio.org.nz/youthvoices. Youth Voices.